So, hi, my name is Cameron Simino. I work at Tri-State Running Company, and I am with Barstool Sports CEO Erika Nardini. And today we're going to do a virtual fitting to get her ready for the Dave Portnoy Memorial 5K. So this is exciting to have you on here, Erika, and we want to get you ready and maybe beat Kirk on the race on that day.
I have like no chance. Kirk and I are going to run the Boston Marathon, though.
That's what I heard. I heard Kirk.
I hate running.
Well, if you're training for the Boston Marathon, you better learn to like it pretty quickly here.
Shoes.
So yes. So tell me what's going on here. So you, during the quarantine, it sounds like you started to pick up running, and I've listened to your podcast daily. I've loved your podcast. It's been a lot of fun, and it seems your evolution of running has really taken off over the last 6 to 8 weeks.
Yep. So I was a big athlete in college, but I only ran when I had to, and I was a way better sprinter than runner. So I'm trying to learn how to run. My knees bother me when I run, Cameron. So that's my biggest thing. But I'm trying to like it. I'm learning to love it.
Yes. So it's an acquired taste, and I kind of come from the same background as you. I played sports through college, but it was, more sprinting. So I do 7 miles of sprinting, during a game. And then I moved to New York City, and I was working, 70 hours a week. And then all of a sudden, you realize, oh, shoot, I got to do something for myself. So, I came from that background where it's this didn't come easy to me. I had to work at it. So I think a lot of people have come from that background. And if you stick with it and you do it the right way, get the right equipment, I think you'll learn to love it. And it becomes Erika Nardini time, right? Where you can kind of go up there and you don't have to worry about, the kids or, what's going on at the headquarters at the company. So it's a great way to kind of get mental peace and so forth. So
really
I'm hopeful that you'll get there, and it just takes time. So the first thing I would just say, as you said, you're going to start training for the Boston Marathon here. The important thing is the number 2 injury that I see is just people being very overzealous and doing too much too soon here. So, make sure that you have a plan, that you kind of stick with it, and it's appropriate here. Boston Marathon's a year away. So, in the short term, you just kind of work on your fitness, start to enjoy the sport, and maybe in October, November, start training for the marathon. But what I would recommend to you is find a plan. And, if you have any questions ever, we have training groups at our store, and, we train about 600 people, and we train for marathons and half marathons. But what I can tell you are the successful people are the people that have a plan and stick to it, right? Not the people who today don't feel like running, and today, it's rainy out, and today, those people who do that, it's like business, it's like everything else. You're not going to be successful there. So, that's going to be the most important thing. Another just kind of tidbit there is not every run should be hard. So, 80% of your runs should be very easy, and 20% of your runs should be maybe more of a workout. And if you're training, for Boston and you just want to finish, maybe all of them can be easy. But don't do all your runs hard, because you will, hurt yourself. You will get injured. You will burn yourself out. And if you can get to the starting line of the Boston Marathon and be healthy, that you've won, you're 75% there. Too many times I've gone into races and I'm just have a nagging injury, and I've done some things wrong. And you do the Boston Marathon, you will be a superstar. You'll be a rock star for 26 miles. You have people carrying you to the finish line. So it'll be fun. So just have a plan. Be smart about it, and don't try to run every run like a race, because that will be a problem. So,
okay.
So let's just kind of talk about injuries and things of that nature. So you say your knees are bothering you. Is there anything else that's bothering you? Are you having plantar fasciitis? Are you having shin splints? Are you having IT band problems? Anything like that?
I think I have a tight IT band. Okay. I don't like to stretch, and I don't like to drink water. So I'm sure we're going to get to that point with inhibitors of success. Yes. Physically, no, I feel pretty good. So I've been running, I don't know, yesterday I did 4 miles. I'm hopeful to do 3.5, 4 today. So I've been running let's say between 2 and 5 miles ish. And I usually feel pretty good. I'm trying to get better at the stretching afterwards, but I think my knees don't stay like straight in the blocks, if that makes sense. Like I think that's my issue, and I think I have a very high arch.
Okay. Yeah. So I saw the wet foot test, and you have very nice high arches. So that told me a lot right there in terms of what I think shoe that you will need. But you do have higher arches, which tells me that you tend to be more of a neutral runner, and we'll kind of get into what that means there. So stretching is going to be an important part of your training there. And what I would say is you don't want to stretch before the runs. You want to stretch after the runs.
Okay.
What you want to do is, if you haven't purchased one already, get a foam roller. That will be your best friend for your IT band and your quads there. And YouTube a how to stretch the IT band with a foam roller. The mistake people make with a foam roller, they'll get on there and they'll kind of go back and forth like this. You want to find a spot that hurts and you want to stay on it and not move. And you'll want to kind of find 2 or 3 spots and do it on each leg. That will really stretch out that IT band. When you have tight IT bands, that can lead to knee problems. And what happens is your IT band pulls your knee out of alignment, and then you have what we call runner's knee there. So, so good. So you're doing 2 to 2.5 to 5 miles at a time there. How many times a week are you doing it? Would you say
6?
6 times a week. Okay, so that's quite an increase there.
I would like start hot, like
yeah. Well,
now I'm trying to keep it up. Now I feel like committed to this run group, so I'm trying to keep up with it.
Well, good. Well, make sure, like I said, you're not going hard all the time. I saw that I heard you did 7 miles on Saturday. Is that correct?
Not running hard. I was not running hard, but it took a long time.
How'd you feel afterwards?
Sore, but good. Like accomplished. Obviously, it was hard for me though. Like I had to stop a lot, and my thing is like the first 2.5 miles are tough. Like I was telling Kirk yesterday. Like I'm like I really have to grit it. Like it sucks. I want to stop, but then after I hit that, then I can I feel like more lubricated on it. Like I can make it the next 2.5, 3, and it's not too bad.
Yeah, well, welcome to the world of, for myself at least, being in the 40s. Like the first 2 to 3 miles are just hell. I mean, it's just kind of getting going there, and then you get going, you feel better, and then other things start bothering you as the run goes on there. But it's totally normal that to be those first couple of miles, and that's why. So when we talk about stretching, we don't talk about stretching before runs. What we do is, in order to run fast, you have to run slow. So try to keep those first 2 miles really slow, and just kind of get warmed up, and then you can start running faster there. But don't feel like you have to run hard from the get-go, because you need to warm up first. So but don't do any static stretching. Don't kind of like you probably did when you were playing lacrosse and things like that, before you grab your toes and things like that. You don't want to do that when you're running. You really want to do dynamic stretching, like leg swings or things of that nature, but definitely don't do any kind of so,
great.
So with that being said there, so you have, you said you have higher arches there. You feel like your knees are kind of wobbling in there a little bit. Is that correct there? Beyond them wobbling in, do you feel like, do they hurt? Do they kind of like when you land, they hurt? Okay.
Like, it's not like a pounding thing. It's almost like if I ride a bike, I can feel my knee snap. Like I can, it like it snaps. And then this inside part of my knee can hurt.
Okay, so that would tell me perhaps when you're landing, you have high arches, and every time you land, your arches maybe collapse inward a little bit, and things roll in that way there. So yeah, it's going to be important for you to use that foam roller. Make sure you get that. I often tell the people in our training groups, I'd rather see them run one day less a week and spending 45 minutes using that foam roller and stretching and things like that. But I would encourage you to use that foam roller every day. Put it by, the stove when you're cooking dinner. You have 45 seconds boiling water. You can, hit the foam roller while you're watching TV, things like that. Incorporate it into your lifetime, as opposed to okay, geez, I got to do a half an hour of that. Off that time. That's how I do it. And I have 4 kids running around, so I'm like, okay, all right, I got 30 seconds here to hit the foam roller.
Okay.
So you do that. So let me ask you a question. Can you, by any chance, position the camera in such a way that I can watch you potentially walk to that wall and back and just see what your ankles are doing? Is that something that's possible, or is that?
Let's try.
let's give it a shot there if we can.
Okay, let's, because you need to see the floor, right?
Yeah, I'd like to see the floor if I can. Just if you don't even have to walk, if you can even just stand there, I could potentially even look at your ankles when you're standing up.
All right, let's see. All right, does that work? Can you see my feet?
Yes, if you can even go down maybe a half inch further on the cameras. Perfect.
Okay.
And if you can take off the slippers, that'd be helpful as well.
Okay, so I'm gonna walk to the wall and back.
Yes, if you don't mind.
Can you see it now?
Yes, I can.
All right, so, oh, look, I have a foam roller in here.
Look at that. There you are.
It's like product placement. All right.
Do that one more time if you don't mind for me.
Okay. That work?
Yeah, that works. Perfect.
Okay.
All right. So you have high arches indeed, but when you're walking and you're walking through the to the wall and back, your ankles want to collapse inward there. So what's happening is your alignment is a little off there, and when you run, it's probably exacerbated because every time we land, it's 3 times our body weight. So I can see those ankles, with those arches collapsing in and ankles moving in a little bit more, and that would make sense that your knees are bothering you there.
How do I fix my ankles?
So, we're not going to fix your ankles. What we're going to try to do is get shoes that will provide more support.
Okay.
And prevent those ankles from rolling inward. So I saw you had a shoe there. Can I see the shoe that you've been wearing? So, okay. So you're wearing the Asics Nimbus. It looks like. Is that the Nimbus by Asics?
Yes, that's the gel Nimbus or whatever.
Yeah, gel Nimbus. So what that is what we call it. That's a neutral shoe, and that's a shoe that. And can I see the bottom of them? Is it possible to see the bottom of them? Okay, and there we go. Yeah, right there. And can I see the heel? Yeah.
It's like, how do I work the heel?
There we go. Yeah. Okay. So you're not very hard in your feet though. It seems like you're pretty light in your feet, and there's not a whole lot of wear there at least.
Yeah. I probably run more on my toes.
Okay. So you're a toe runner. Okay. Yeah. So what happens is you're on maybe the balls of your feet. What's going to happen inevitably when your form breaks down, you're probably going to start landing a little bit further back, and maybe you start heel striking a little bit more there as well. So having a little bit of support in the arches may not be a bad thing for you there. So there are shoes that we call stability shoes, and what they're designed to do is prevent those ankles from rolling inward and keeping them propped up a little bit more there.
Okay.
In your case, what we may want to look at too, eventually at some point, like since you do have higher arches, even do you ever wear orthotics or inserts?
Like that little thing. Isn't there something you can put under your arch?
Exactly, like an insert. Yeah. Do you wear those from time to time? Okay.
But I would.
So that may be something to look at. What I would probably recommend first is, maybe getting you into what we call a stability shoe that provides better arch support. You won't necessarily feel it, but it'll prevent that ankle from rolling in quite as much there. The best way to provide arch support and ankle support is to get what we call a Power Step. Power Step's a brand. They're like one of the leaders in the industry that really props up that arch and prevents that arch from rolling in. It really provides a nice customized support, and it's really great for ladies like you that have nice high arches. And
I have that made to my foot, and then I put it in the shoe.
No, actually, what it is it's actually you can get something over the counter, so you don't have to spend $400. You can spend $40 there. I have an example. Can you wait 10 seconds? I can show you what it looks like here.
Steve, am I the only person to do this?
So Blind Mike was the other person to do a fitting, and he was a little bit more limited in what he could do. So you can imagine he's actually we've teamed him up with a seeing eye minifan who can't run because he has a brittle bone disease and is in a wheelchair. Okay. So for 5K, he's going to be pushing someone else in a wheelchair around a track.
I love it.
I can't help it. I love Blind Mike. I love him. But anyway, so this is what I'm talking about. Okay. What you would do is you'd put it inside your shoe, and you would take this part of your shoe
out.
You would take this out
and put that guy in.
And put that guy in there. Now, an orthotic or an insert is not for everybody because it's going to provide more support than you're used to. And some people, it feels great from the beginning. Some people have to kind of work their way into it.
Okay.
But it may help with that knee problem that you're having because it'll help keep those ankles more aligned.
Okay.
And I'm guessing that your knees are kind of collapsing bow-legged inward a little bit, and it's just causing some strain on it that way. So this may be a good recourse. They're called Power Step.
Okay.
And what I would do, you don't want to put this in a shoe that's already has support because then you're kind of doing double jeopardy. But what I would first start with you is maybe just a shoe that has support. If you're still not feeling 100% better, then I think we try, an orthotic like that there.
Okay, that's cool.
Second thing I want to talk to you about is like shoe size. What shoe size have you been wearing on those Gel Nimbus there?
I think it's like an 8 or an 8.5. I think it's an 8.5.
8.5. Okay. Because when you provided me the measurements of your feet, you're actually I would recommend an 8.5 based on what we said there. Potentially even a size 9. What you want to do though is you want your shoe. You want to have a thumbnail's width at the end of the shoe here. So and that can be more challenging, especially for ladies, because I think you ladies are used to wearing tighter shoes. What's that?
We like our feet to look small.
There's no doubt about it. Like certain ladies, there must be a correlation between femininity and shoe size because ladies, I never tell a lady what her shoe. What's that?
Probably like from Japan.
Exactly. I never tell a woman what their shoe size are. So how does it feel? Because women, like if you tell them they're wearing a size 9, like, oh no, oh my God, that's too big. There's no way. So just so you know, an 8.5 is number one selling size in the industry, size 8.5 and size 9. So if you did wear that would be perfectly fine. But what you want essentially is you want a thumbnail's width at the end of the shoe there. So your feet, because every time you land, your feet are going to splay like this, and your feet swell up to 2 to 3 millimeters. Okay. So you can imagine what your feet will look like at mile 20 of the Boston Marathon. So if your shoes are too small, then it can lead to problems there. And I'm sure when you played lacrosse, you probably wore cleats. Is that correct? Yeah. And so those are uncomfortable and tight to begin with. Running shoes, we want you to be comfortable. We want you to wear a very comfortable shoe, and we want them to be a little bit bigger. So, keep that in mind there. So when you put those Nimbus ASIC Nimbus back on, just see where your how much room you have at the end of the shoe there, and that may be able to tell us if we need to go up a half size or not.
Okay, hold on one second here. Okay. And guys, I'm sorry, I have a 3:00 call. So
okay, I'll finish. Okay, we're finished up here. So,
what do you want, Cameron?
You just want to make sure that when you put your shoes on, and you don't have to do it now. Just make sure that the size is such we have.
This is a good size. Like I have like sometimes I feel like the New Balances are really big, but like the 8.5 in this guy is a good. Like I can put my I don't ever feel cramped in my shoe or anything.
Okay, well, perfect then. So based on what I've seen here and what you've talked to me about here is, I would really recommend that we could put you in a support shoe first, and a couple of recommendations, and I can obviously shoot a note to Steve and he can share. But like I think like a New Balance 860, even the Asics 2000, if you like Asics, perhaps even like the Saucony Guide or the Adrenaline. All those shoes are going to provide a lot of support for you. And if that doesn't work, then we can kind of look at the insert and try and put a shoe there. So with all that kind of stuff, I think you'll be in a good position to succeed. But have a plan. Don't do too much too hard. And you'll be successful there. So.
Awesome. So I can order my shoes from you, yeah?
Yes, that's correct. So I'll shoot
the inserts and stuff too if I decide. Okay.
Yes, we can do that. And if we want to go to the inserts, maybe have a little conversation with me beforehand just to make sure that I don't want to put the inserts in a shoe that I've recommended to you, because that'll be too much support there. So
got it. Okay, I got it. Thank you so much.
Okay, Erika, nice meeting you. Take care.
We'll see you soon. We'll see you for the 5K.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Thank you, Erika.